It's mad. But in the paper, it must be true. Well, in the saga of the Pottsylvania Creeper, things went from bad to worse when fearless leader himself appeared on the scene.
Hello, fans.
And they went from worse to just awful when the Creeper seized our friend Rocky.
Help! Help!
Well, we can close the book on that one bad enough. The Creeper never fails.
Oh, this is awful, terrible.
You mean about what's happening to the squirrel?
No, about I didn't bring my camera.
Meanwhile, Rocky was being dragged along by clinging tendrils toward the sinister form of the carnivorous Creeper. But suddenly, Bullwinkle dashed into the scene and began a tug-of-war with the plant for possession of his little friend.
Never fear, Rock. I'll get you out if I have to do it piece by piece.
Oh, boy. Let me go, you creep!
I'm just trying to help.
Not you, Bullwinkle, the other creep.
Oh.
Boris, will Moose win?
Silly girl. When the creeper grabs them, they don't get away until it lets go by itself.
And at that moment, Bullwinkle, like any red-blooded American hero, dashed home and dived under the bed.
You hear, fearless leader? Moose is chicken.
Moose is chicken?
Yes, Moose is chicken.
Only in America.
But you can't just hide there, Bullwinkle.
Who's hiding? I'm looking for something. I always keep it under the bed.
You do?
And here it is.
Oh, yes. The ingenious Moose came up with a blowtorch. What's that for?
I'm going to give that creepy creeper a hot root.
A good idea, for although the end of the Creeper was already halfway to town, its roots were buried right next to Bullwinkle's very own house. So just as the plant was about to engulf Rocky, and as the startled plant slackened its grip, the speedy squirrel crashed out of its grasp.
Got to get up pretty early in the morning to outwit Bullwinkle J. Moose. Boy, that thing must get up at sunrise.
Well, our heroes were safe, but the town of Frostbite Falls wasn't. For the Pottsylvania Creeper grew and grew, covering the little village like a blight. And it did no good to try to fight it either.
What's the matter with you fellas? Haven't you ever had trouble with weeds before?
What you gonna do, Eve?
I'm going to give this thing a shot in the head with some triple-strength weed killers, what?
Attaboy! Attaboy! Go do it, Eve. Eve, where'd he go?
Look at that creeper. I think that answers your question.
It's smiling.
Sort of a well-fed smile, too.
I'm getting out of here.
Likewise.
No, you mustn't panic. Remain calm. Stay where you are.
How long, Mr. Mayor?
Just till I get a running start.
Gee, I never thought one plant would take over the whole town.
How'd it be if I got another hot root?
But by now, the wily plant had figured out a defense against Bullwinkle's blowtorch.
Hokey smoke, it's surrounded by thorns. They're impenetrable.
And what's worse, we can't even get through 'em.
But the ultimate horror was yet to come, for as our boys watched, the Creeper formed one section of leaf and stem into a giant green vertical tower.
What is it, Rock?
Oh, boy. Now comes the best part, fearless leader. What a sight it will be.
Yes. Turn your back, bad enough.
Turn my back? I won't be able to see it happen.
I know. There's only one thing better than looking at something wonderful.
And that is...
Keeping somebody else from seeing it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, how perfectly schrecklich. Oh, you ought to see this, bad enough.
Yeah.
Well, what can the fearsome spectacle be that fearless leader enjoys so much? We'll find out next time in The Worryin' of the Green or The Look of the Irish.
Once upon a time, there was a very beautiful but very lonely young maiden who, more than anything else, wanted to find a true love. She would pore through the Lonely Hearts mail order catalog by the hour, but never with any luck. Day after day, she stood on a busy street corner where all the handsome young blades of the kingdom passed by sooner or later, but all they ever did was to pass without giving her a second look. If this kept up, she might turn out to be an old maid. Could it be that a handsome young man would never ask her for a hand in marriage? What could be the trouble?
Good heavens, you don't suppose it's something my friends won't tell me? Or maybe I'm putting on too much weight.
Well, she was relieved to see that weight was not her problem. She was still a dainty 165 pounds. Then she noticed her fortune on the back of the weight card, and what she saw set her heart a-twitter, for it said, "A wicked witch will put you to sleep with an evil spell. Then a handsome prince will awaken you with a kiss, and you will live happily ever after." She was overjoyed.
Oh, boy, a handsome prince. Just what I've always wanted. Oh, you nice machine. You've made me the happiest beauty in the world.
And with that, she dashed off to await the witch. She waited and waited and waited. 2 months later, she was still waiting, and the witch hadn't shown up.
That fortune card just can't be wrong. If the witch won't come to me, I'll go to the witch. I wonder which witch was supposed to do the job.
A short time later, she arrived at the house of a little witch who lived just outside of town and knocked on the door. Say that she rang the bell. Anyway, the witch answered.
Come in.
Where have you been?
Right in here, brewing away, honey. Pass the powdered bat, will you please? Now, very carefully, I add just a teeny-weeny pinch. Oh, drat, that's the third time this week I must be putting too much yeast in the darn stuff.
Never mind that. You were supposed to cast a spell on me.
I was? Oh, that's funny. There's nothing in my appointment book about it. What was I supposed to do, honey? Turn you into a toad?
No.
I got it a camel.
No. You were supposed to put me to sleep.
Sleep? Oh, say, you must be Beauty.
That's right, Frances Beauty. And
Oh, land sakes, I remember now. The assignment completely slipped my mind. Well, you just sit there, honey. I'll have you to sleep.
Now, here, silly. We gotta go out where the prince will be sure to find me.
Beauty hurried the witch off to the local park, and with no further delay...
Now, I lie here on the park bench and you put me to sleep.
All right, child. Here we go. Prickly thorn, Morpheus horn. There, my dear, don't weep. I cast the spell right on your head, and you will sleep, sleep, sleep. You asleep, honey?
No.
Well, that's funny. I must have forgotten the spell. I'll try again.
And the little old witch tried every spell she could think of.
Rock-a-bye, Beauty, in the treetop.
But nothing she did could put Beauty to sleep.
Why don't you try counting bats, honey?
But it was too late, for just then the handsome prince was seen riding toward them on his gallant steed.
Now, don't worry, honey. I'll think of the right spell in a minute, dear. Now, just...
There's no time for that. Now the prince is coming. Out! He mustn't see you.
With no time left, Beauty did the only thing she could do on such short notice. She dove to the park bench and pretended she was asleep. And as the prince approached...
Good heavens! It sounds like a terrible beast in yon bushes. But I'm a brave young prince, so I will go in there and slash him and kill him until he's dead at least. And then I'll... Wait a minute. That isn't a beast, it's a beauty, and she sleeps. You are asleep, aren't you, ma'am?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I bet an evil witch has cast a spell on her. I will kiss her and wake her so we can live. Happily ever after, that is.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you'd never get here.
Sweetie!
Darling!
Hold it, hold it.
What do you want?
I just remembered the spell that will put you to sleep. Ready?
No! No! I don't need that now!
And with that, Beauty fell to the ground, sound asleep.
See, I knew I'd...
But so did the prince.
Oops, I goofed. Well, if I'm not a little stinker... Well, they'll both be asleep for 100 years or more, so if you come back then, we'll finish the story for you. Right now, I've got an appointment with a fellow named Rip Van Winkle. Wonder if I'll have any trouble with him.
The signal goes out.
An intruder has been spotted at Wayne Manor.
Down in the Batcave Command Center, it's time for Gotham's greatest hero. Batman returns.
Not a bad nest.
Batman makes a crashing entrance and sends the Penguin flying back to his Arctic hideout. Without warning, Batman appears.
Surprise, Penguin!
Pity penguins can't fly. Batman returns. Batcave Command Center and figures sold separately. Some assembly required.
Do you have it?
Guts! Nickelodeon Guts. See the Extreme Arena come to life for the first time. This weekend at 6:30, 5:30 Central on Nickelodeon.
Coco's my name, and as you can see, I'm swinging through the jungle with my Cocoa Krispies. When out of the sky drops a giant pest, who takes my Cocoa Krispies back to his nest. It's the chocolatey taste he wants to try, but he's about to learn a new way to fly. Bye. Kellogg's Cocoa Krispies are such a chocolatey and delicious part of this complete breakfast. Even the milk turns chocolate with every bite so chocolatey. Oh, everybody wants my Cocoa Krispies.
Hello out there. Peabody, Sherman, and Wayback here. Sherman, tell the folks what Marconi invented.
Marconi invented spaghetti.
You are confusing Marconi with macaroni, my boy. Be that as it may, set the way back for Venice, Italy in the year 1896. For today, we shall be on hand when Guglielmo Marconi produces the first successful radio.
What's radio, Mr. Peabody?
Never mind, get into the way back. 1 second later, we were standing inside Marconi's lab, and there, before his invention, stood the great man.
Stand back, please. I'm gonna turn on the juice.
The juice was turned on, and so was Marconi.
Are you all right, Mr. Marconi?
See, just a little shock, that's all.
Does your radio always short out on you that way?
No, most of the time it go out right in the middle of Arthur Godfrey. I don't know what's the matter.
I bet Mr. Peabody can help.
With Marconi's permission, I proceeded to inspect his wiring. I knew I'd found the source of the trouble when I discovered the wires leading into a Venice canal.
You mean to say I'm a knocking string wire underwater?
Exactly.
Then I'm giving up inventing the radio. I'm gonna try television.
I'm afraid the results would be the same. Look, if we can drain the canals for 1 day, could you finish your invention, then work on it elsewhere, say, in Florence?
Sure.
Sherman and I went to the executive offices of the Venice Canal Boat Company, owned and operated by a gentleman named Giuseppe Pasto.
Drain the canals? That's ridiculous.
But Mr. Pasto, Marconi must invent the radio.
And he can only do it if the water is out of the canals.
He's a tough luck.
What now, Mr. Peabody?
Come, my boy, there's more than one way to skin a canal. At the far end of the city was a large dam used for draining off the surplus canal water. You see that wheel directly in back of that guard, Sherman? Well, if we can turn that wheel, the canal will drain completely.
But how are we going to do it? There's a guard.
We won't do it. The guard will. How do you do, sir? I'm from the Venice Motor Vehicle Bureau.
That's a nice.
We have a driver's license for you if you can pass the test.
What test are you talking about?
The left-hand turn. If you can show us how you make a left-hand turn, you get your license.
That's easy. This is steering wheel, right?
Right.
Well, I'm gonna throw out my left hand out of the window like this.
Go on.
And then all I gotta do is turn the car like this.
You did it, Mr. Peabody. The canals are dry.
Quickly, Sherman, we must get Marconi to finish the radio. The rest of that night, Marconi slaved over his invention, desperately striving to complete it in time.
Well, that's it.
Is it finished?
Sure.
The brilliant inventor turned the juice on just as he did when we first saw him.
Oh, my gosh, it shorted out again.
Senor Marconi, are you all right?
I think so. But how about that radio? What could be wrong?
Again, I traced the wires, and to my surprise, they were in the canal. A water-filled canal.
But we drained it.
True, but we didn't drain the sky.
Huh?
It rained last night, Sherman. There was nothing else to do but return to the dam and try to trick the guard once more. Unfortunately, not only had the guards doubled, but they were under the personal supervision of Giuseppe Pasto.
Keep your eyes open. If anyone is a touch that wheel, he's a chicken is gonna be cacciatore.
Pardon me, Senor Pasto, but we're from the Venice Motor Vehicle Bureau.
Oh, no, you don't. I already got my license.
But I'm not here to give you your license, Senor Pasto, but to take it away.
What?
According to the Bureau, you made an illegal U-turn yesterday.
That's not true.
Can you prove it?
Sure. I was behind the wheel, see? And I was on a one-way street. I'm a lookout both ways. Street, she's got no one on it.
I see. Then what did you do?
I make a U-turn.
Show us.
Oh, no. You think I'm a fool? You trying to make me turn this wheel?
Turn the wheel?
Sure. You expecting me to spin the wheel like this?
Come, Sherman, back to Marconi.
Oh, mamma mia, what a dope.
There it is, Senor Peabody. The radio. She's all set. Arrivederci.
Well, you did it, Mr. Peabody. But I can't help feeling sorry for Mr. Pasto.
Oh, don't feel sorry for him, Sherman. He's going into the salad business, and he's going to make a fortune. In fact, he's naming the salad after his aunt.
Oh, really? What's he calling it?
You really don't know, Sherman?
No, sir.
Antipasto?
Our story opens today in our nation's capital, where the news of the attack of the Pottsylvania Creeper has just hit the streets.
X-ray plan captures town.
Beats our state militia in 2-hour battle.
Man-eating plan still at large.
Well, Chauncey, that's what I call news.
What's that, Edgar?
Look here. Vegetable bites, man.
In the White House, a cabinet meeting was already in progress. Its main subject, how to deal with the Pottsylvania Creeper.
Secretary of State, I say it's a job for agriculture. It's a plant growing in the ground, isn't it?
Of course. That's why it's a job for the Interior Department.
I hear the plant just grew over a state line. That makes it a Commerce Department case.
But it's attacking the country. I think it's a job for the Defense Department.
Nope.
Why not?
It's not a defense plant.
The cabinet wasn't the only group perturbed. All over the country, people began to view plants and flowers with suspicion. The city of Squawkum, Connecticut, started obedience schools for houseplants.
Down, sir! Down, I say!
The North Dakota legislature passed a law ordering all snapdragons and dandelions to be muzzled. And in Mount Vernon...
George, did you chop down my cherry tree?
I cannot tell a lie, Father. It pulled a knife on me.
Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls, the man-eating Pottsylvania Creeper had just about taken over the town. Its ravenous branches grew into every house, into every barn, into every chicken coop. And as it grew, its evil blossoms took on more and more of a well-fed smile.
Well, at least it doesn't eat just people.
That's better.
Isn't it?
Rock, that means it might also like to munch a moose and swallow a squirrel.
But the absolute worst happened when the Pottsylvania Creeper whipped its branches and leaves into a great green tower.
Golly, Bullwinkle, that looks just like a missile.
Yes, the brainy squirrel had guessed it. With a roar, the green leafy missile sailed off the stem and into the air.
Now, why do you suppose it does that?
Just showing off, I bet.
Alas, Bullwinkle was wrong again, for as the leafy projectile reached its apex, it exploded.
Hooray!
No, Bullwinkle, look!
Oh, my stars and body, that missile threw out thousands and thousands of little leafy parachutes.
And every one of them has a seed on it.
Boris, that means there will be thousands of Pottsylvania Creepers all over the country.
Makes your blood run colder, doesn't it?
Yes, the Minnesota breeze was scattering thousands of creeper seeds in a wider and wider area.
Bullwinkle, there's only one thing to do.
Move to Canada!
No, somebody's got to catch those seeds.
Impossible!
Maybe, but I got to try.
I'm with you, Rock.
Sally!
And the plucky squirrel zoomed upward and began gathering up the tiny parachutes.
It's working, Bullwinkle, it's working.
Little did Rocky realize that at that moment he was in the crosshairs of a telescopic sight on a rifle in the hands of fearless leader himself.
Very well, Badenoff. Pin another medal on me.
What kind, fearless leader?
Sharpshooter.
Gee, was that the shot heard around the network? The one that finally got Rocky?
Don't ask. pin.
We'll find out next time in It's Only a Flesh Wound or Better Lead Than Dead.
Hang tight. Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama will be right back.
Is this thing on?
Here, I'll show you. Let me see. I love video scavenger hunts. Spotted Dog, Rock Group. Rock Group? Hi, Mom. I don't see Deke on it. Is McDonald's on there? Let's roll. For stars. Spotted Dog, Twins, Moving Van, Group Headstand. Got it. Twins? Oh, I always see twins. And McDonald's. Oh. Spotted Dog.
Moving van.
I always see moving vans at McDonald's. Come on.
It's moving. It's a van. It counts.
Now check it out.
Hey, a rock group.
Works for me. What's next? Right convertible? Sky cam. What are you doing up there? Sit down. I always see red convertible. At McDonald's. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, we're doing good. I'm doing great.
Look, twins.
Not anymore. Still need a man in uniform. Hey, whoa. Hey, man in uniform. I knew we'd find everything at McDonald's.
But why don't you say something?
Little Miss Magic Jewel, won't you sparkle for me? How did you do that? The touch of the wand puts her magical jewels on. Wow! Jewels here, jewels there. Put them in your hair. Just like her. Wow! Do her hair, take her down, then change them all. She's dazzling. Little Miss Magic Jewel.
Little Miss Magic Jewel stock comes with Magic Wand and 24 jewels. Extra jewel packs sold separately, new from Mattel.
You are in the O-Zone. And now back to Nickelodeon's Moose-a-Rama.
And now for the educational part of our program.
Don't say that or nobody'll watch.
Anyway, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, friends. Today we take up the problem of how to have a hit record. First, it is necessary to make a record. That part's easy. Oh, baluta-doota-bitty, rodo-so-titty-fo, zoot. See? But next, you gotta have it played by a top-flight disc jockey. And there's one now. Disc Dawson. Hello, Disc Dawson. You're my favorite DJ. Would you like to hear my latest hit?
No, I'd like you to hear my latest hit.
Sounded more like a hit and run. Now, you may think I'm discouraged, and I am, but the essential thing is he'll remember me. I'll just press my face against the glass here and he'll recognize me. Hello, Disc Doll, remember me?
How could I forget?
If all else fails, you must impress the disc jockey with the prestige of the company that made your record. Hey, look, Mr. Disc Dawson, baby. What do you say to that?
Only one thing to say.
And that is...
Sick-em!
Gee, Mr. Know-It-All, are you going to make another hit record?
No, I'm out of the record business.
But isn't that a record you're making there?
Nope, it's a pizza. A one mozzarella coming up.
What started out as just another flower fair in Frostbite Falls has wound up as a national calamity. For Bullwinkle's entry turned out to be a man-eating plant called a Pottsylvania Creeper, which proceeded to take over the whole town. Worse, that plant released thousands of little seed-bearing parachutes. And when Rocky tried to recapture the seeds, he became a moving target for Phyllis Leader. Stunned by a near miss, Rocky plummeted downward, but at the very last instant...
Wow, that was close. What took you so long, Bullwinkle?
Had to run home and get my catcher's mitt.
Oh, boy.
Of course, by this time, the creeper seeds were flung far and wide, and soon man-eating plants were growing everywhere in the United States. In swamps, in deserts, in solid rocks, even in city streets. Immediately, the nation took action.
Get me the White House.
Get me the Air Force.
Get me better homes and gardens.
But alas, nobody seemed to know how to attack the creeper. They tried weed killers. They tried flamethrowers. They tried bombs. Nothing worked. Within a few months, even the Empire State Building was nothing but an enormous planter.
Gentlemen, we'll just have to give up and abandon the country.
Well, how do you like those subversive apples, Chief?
Superb, bad enough, a triumph. And for your reward...
Yes, yes?
I am taking you both back with me.
Back to Pottsylvania?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Couldn't we have a 5-year vacation in the salt mines instead?
Come along.
And Phyllis Leader led Boris and Natasha to a handy nearby submarine.
I always like to take the 922 sub. It gets you to Pottsylvania in time for the morning execution.
Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls...
It's no use, Rock. We've tried everything but kissing that thing goodnight.
That's it, Bullwinkle.
What did?
We've tried everything but being nice to the creeper.
Being nice to a man-eating plant?
What have we got to lose?
Us.
Nevertheless, at Rocky's suggestion, people did start trying to be nice to the Pottsylvania Creepers. They watered them, they fed them vitamin pills, they tucked them in at night, they gave them birthday parties.
Happy birthday, dear Potsy.
And the plan worked. The Creepers survived well under the worst of conditions, but they didn't know what to make of kind treatment. They began to wilt.
Oh, Doctor, I'm so worried it hasn't eaten anybody for days.
Mrs. Johnson, you've got a sick plant here. I'd suggest 2 weeks at some nice summer camp.
And in the office of a prominent psychiatrist...
Now tell me, when did you start having these feelings of persecution?
And when the head shrinkers begin to move in, it's the beginning of the end, Rock.
True. Pottsylvania Creepers all over the nation had nervous breakdowns, gave up, and simply shriveled on the vine. Do-gooding had doed good. Soon all that remained of the dreadful invasion of the Pottsylvania Creeper was one lonesome little seed blowing out over the ocean, where, as fate would have it, it was sucked into the air intake of a mysterious submarine. When the sub came up in Pottsylvania and the hatch was opened, the only thing that emerged was a huge blossom.
And look, Dimitri, it's smiling.
Meanwhile, in Frostbite Falls...
Gee, Bullwinkle, where'd you get all those books on plants and flowers and trees?
I thought you'd never ask. I got them.
Oh, don't say it.
At the...
And so we come to the end of another episode of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
The Branch Library.
Oh, dear.
Other babies.
Tommy Pickles makes the girls go gaga on Rugrats every Sunday at 10:30, 9:30 Central on Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. By day, bright, rowdy, and easygoing. But every Saturday night, explore a side of Nickelodeon you never knew existed when we...